Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Gusto deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one because someone a while back actually requested me to do this one, and I was like, man, I never have made a Gusto deck profile, which was kind of interesting to me because I really love Winda and Shadows, and I'd never touched this deck really. So I made this deck in the thoughts of someone asked me if I could, play around this deck to where I could use Spree and also use like Nibiru, or I could use Dwayne The Rock Johnson in here, which would be really cool. But it's a really interesting deck concept where you're going to be using Spree and then Nibiru to put on your opponent's side of the field and then use your Gusto monsters to kind of reduce your opponent's life points to 0 by attacking into the Nibiru, which is really, really cool, and I really like this deck concept. So here we go, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that button there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this one. And yes, I did get the entire deck of Gusto support in Dual Terminal, which is kind of cool. It took me a little while to get this. That's why it's taking me so long to actually get into this deck. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Winda, Priestess of Gusto. Hands down my favorite card in the entire deck. When this card is destroyed by battle by an opponent's attacking monster and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Gusto tuner from your deck. All of the Gustos, ironically enough, since they're Wind, float. All of them float. That's the only thing that you have to remember about them, and they float into one another in a certain way that I'll show you guys in a little bit. Then we play 3 copies of Pilica, Descendant of Gusto, which you're always going to use to summon your Gusto Galdo to be able to synchro into your copy of Spree, because Spree is a level 6. So a Pilica really helps out. When she is normal or special summon, you can target a tuner monster in your graveyard that's Wind Tuner and special summon that target in face-up defense position, but you cannot special summon the monsters for the rest of the turn except Wind monsters. So Pilica really helps out with that, being able to put you out a monster on the field. Then I played 2 copies of Calm, Serenity of Gusto. When she's normal summon or once per turn, you can target 2 Gustos in your graveyard and put them back into your deck and then draw a card, which can really help out with, keeping the resources flowing. Then I play 2 copies of Kamui, Hope of Gusto. It's the only flip effect monster that we play, and when Kamui's flip face up, you get to special summon a Gusto tuner from your deck. The reason I play it as a 2 of is because it really helps out sometimes if you're going first. You can set like a Winda or a Kamui or something like that to get another monster on the field to float into a secondary, Gusto monster, which can really make the difference in the game. So then we play 3 copies of Galdo. Galdo is probably the best one in my opinion. Galdo's effect basically says when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon a level 2 or lower Gusto monster from your deck, which is really cool to be able to special summon, because with this card you can special summon a Winda, or you can special summon an Eagle, or you can special summon a Kamui. Any of those you can special summon, and they float into it. And then we play 3 copies of Gusto Eagle, or Eagle. I don't know. But we play 3 copies of this. When it's special summon, or when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 4 or lower non-tuner Gusto monster from your deck. So basically what you do is, with this deck, is you float from Winda, which can special summon a Gusto tuner, into a copy of Eagle, and then Eagle into Galdo, and then Galdo back into Winda, and it kind of makes like this triangle until you get into the Pilica, until your opponent doesn't have any more attacks. Then you get a Pilica. As long as you have a Galdo and a Pilica in the field or the grave, you can just kind of float into those. And then if you can Nibiru your opponent after, all that happens, you can just go into whatever you need to. So it's just some options there. And then we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom as well. Ash Blossom just helps us because you don't want, you want to hand trap your opponent, and you want to make them put the monsters that you want on the field onto the field, and not the monsters they want to. So Ash Blossom can kind of help you disrupt your opponent to kind of lead them in the direction of putting, the stuff that you want to put on the field. Like, you don't want them to end with like 4 or 5 negates. You just don't. And go into battle phase and then negate your first like special summon, and then you're like, well, there it went. Sometimes that'll happen, and you don't want that to happen. Then we play the Kaiju engine that I play in here, and I play a single copy of Jaculucin, the Star-Destroying Kaiju, Thunder King, I play a Dolgaran, and then 2 Gandarla. The reason you play Gandarla at 2 is because some of the Gusto monsters, like for instance Pilica, lets us only special summon Wind, and so the Gandarla is a Wind, and so it's probably the best Kaiju to play in here. You could probably just play 3 Gandarla and play 2 of anything else you want, but I really like the 3 Gandarla. Then I play 3 copies of Nibiru as well. Nibiru is hands down the coolest card in this deck, because if you can put Spree on the field and then give your opponent a really big token, or them not know what you're playing and not know what Spree does, and then you put a big token on their side of the field and they're like, oh, well, I'm just going to switch it to attack position next turn. Well, surprise, I'm going to put Spree on the field and attack into it for 8,000 damage, and I'm going to win on the first swing. So sometimes that will happen. And it's really cool to be able to play Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the deck and be able to OTK your opponent. With their own token, I may add, which is really funny, because basically, if you guys don't know what Spree does, any battle that, when this card is Synchro Summon, you get to add a Gusto card from your graveyard to your hand, and then it also has the ability that your opponent takes any battle damage you have taken for battles involving your Gusto monsters. So basically, any battle damage, that's why there's so little, is because you want to put Spree on the field and then just attack and float into another one and then keep attacking into one monster that they have on the field. So you put something like a Kaiju on their side of the field and then swing with Spree on the field to be able to just do, like, I don't know, 3,000 plus damage. Like, this has 200 attack. That has 33. They're going to take 31 every time you hit them with an Yugioh. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave, because we just don't want to get hand trapped when this is happening. You want to be able to just stop your opponent and go after your opponent. 1 copy of 1 for 1, which is basically like playing another copy of Eagle. Then we play 1 copy of Emergency Teleport, which helps us get into some of our other monsters, like our copy of Winda. It lets us get into Winda and Pilica, which is really cool, and then it helps us get into Kamui if we need to, just as an option. Usually I use this as a 4th copy of Pilica to be able to put her out on the field and then be able to do what I need to do. Then I play 2 copies of Contact with Gusto. Contact with Gusto lets us select 2 Gusto monsters in the graveyard, add them to your deck, and then shuffle or select 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, which can really help out if you can't OTK them with Nibiru. You can just stack your graveyard and then, you know, put them back and then pop the Nibiru token. So that's options if you guys want to have those options. And then I play 3 copies of Creature Swap as well. Creature Swap really helps out because sometimes you can give your opponent like a Kaiju and then normal summon like an Eagle and then attack into it and then special summon another thing on your side of the field, and then because it went to your graveyard, you get to special summon something to your side of the field, and it can help you search what you need to search. That's why I play the Gandarla, is because sometimes I might end with like a Pilica and a Kaiju on my side of the field, but I only special summoned a wind monster on my turn. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So we actually play 3 traps in the deck, and that is a single copy of Whirlwind of Gusto and 2 copies of Blessings of Gusto. So this really helps out because the Whirlwind, if you have no monsters on your side of the field, you can target 2 Gustos in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then you get to special summon a Gusto monster with 1,000 or less defense from your deck, which is majority of your Gustos. I mean, the majority of them do have less. The only ones that you can't special summon is Pilica. You can't special summon Pilica. You can't special summon Calm. And you can't special summon, I think it's just Pilica and Calm. Yeah, Pilica and Calm are the only ones that you can't special summon off of Whirlwind, which is kind of a shame. And then Blessings is hands down the best card to go into battle phase with, because you get to select 2 Gustos in your grave and return them to your deck. Then you get to target a third Gusto in your grave and then special summon it. So somehow they get rid of your Spree, you can just put the Spree back on the field with the Blessings. So basically it's kind of like Monster Reborn almost. So this card is like an MVP of the deck. And definitely give us a like, guys, because I did actually go out and get the entire deck in Dual Terminal, which was it was difficult, but it wasn't that bad. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Daigusto Spree. We kind of already went over her effect, but basically if you guys missed it, what she does is any Gusto monster that battles your opponent, they take the battle damage for the battle. So like if I attack with a 200 attack point monster into a 2200 attack point monster, my opponent's going to take 2,000 points of damage, which is really cool. And then all the Gustos float, so Spree is really good for the deck. Then we play 2 copies of Daigusto Falcos. Falcos is a good level 4 Synchro monster to go into. I just played as a 2-of because when this card is Synchro Summoned, all Gusto monsters currently on the field gain 600 attack. You're never going to want to get them really big, but it's a good 2k beat stick to summon on the field. And plus, sometimes you want to get your Spree a little bit bigger to beat over something. But usually I found that usually what you want to do is just put the spree on the field, but it's options if you want to go into it. I played 2 copies of Gusto Galdos. Galdos is really interesting because once per turn you can return 2 Gusto monsters from your graveyard to your deck and then select a monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So it's a good just instantly popping something on the side of the field. And it's really easy to go into with like a window and a Galdos. So it's not hard to summon this card at all. I play 1 copy of Dagusto Eagles. This card's really good because once per turn during your end phase, you can remove from play 1 wind monster from your grave to select a face down card your opponent controls and destroy it. I rarely go into this, and it's just kind of there in case you need it, and you want to go for 7, and then I kind of branch over into Crystal Wing off of the Eagle. Then I play a high-speed Roy Chambara, because it's easy to go into Chambara, and this deck can be able to attack twice. Clear Wing, another option if you want to go into it. Not very hard to go into in this deck. It just takes a 4/3, which is like a Calm and an Eagle. Crystal Wing, you kind of have to like climb up into, so it's not that hard to go into Crystal Wing, because all you have to do is have something on the field like a level 5 synchro monster like a Galdos and then an Eagle on the field, and you can just synchro into this, or a Spree plus like a Spree plus, I don't even remember what the level 2 tuner was, but there's a level 2 tuner in the deck that you can use to go into this as well. And 1 copy of Trishula as well. Trishula is super easy to go into in this deck, and people don't realize how easy Trishula is to go into this deck. Like, all you have to do is have a level 9 on the field and use 3 monsters, and this deck already has a bunch of tuners and synchro monsters. It's either 3 3s, a 4, a 2, and a 3, or something like that. I mean, like, there is options to go into Trish really easily in this deck, or 2 4s and a 1. Like, it's really easy. 1 copy of Boral Sword, because you can put 4 monsters on the field really easily. The only thing you have to watch out for is Pelika. 1 copy of Apotheos, Bow of the Goddess, which is actually Wind. Really easy to go into in the deck. Really fun to be able to just negate everything. High-Speed Roid Rubberband Shooter. Rubberband Shooter is 2 wind monsters. It gives you an additional normal summon, which can really help out as well. So that's why I played as 1 of. And then a single copy of Greatfly, in case I want to get my monsters bigger. I have the option to go into Greatfly and just go after my opponent. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. It's really, really good. It's basically the deck that says stop hitting yourself. That's basically what this deck does. It's really funny to be able to go into a duel against somebody and they're like, wow, your monsters are really weak. And I'm like, yeah, and your life points are going to get real low real quick, bud. And they don't know what it does until after you summon the Spree. And they're like, yeah, I'm just going to keep attacking your little monsters until you finally, you go into Pilika, put her on the field, and then synchro for Spree, and then you win, essentially. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really hope that I lived up to the expectations of who subscribed or who requested this deck. It's been a little while since I actually requested this. About 3 months. It's been a little while, but I had to get all the cards, and it's taken me some time to get the cards. So I hope I lived up to it. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.